That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, very pleased to welcome back to the Kevin McCullough microphone my next guest. She is a senior policy analyst for the Independent Women's Forum. Please welcome Carrie Sheffield. Hello, Carrie.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
It's always good to talk to you. This week, the debate and the interview that President Trump conducted kind of went off simultaneously. I think it was within the first 5 minutes of the broadcast on Fox News that Trump had already crossed 5-6 million viewers on Tucker Carlson's channel on X. And I think that it was off to the races. By the next day afternoon, there were well over 212 million people that had viewed that interview. I'm just curious, in your overall sense of election cycles and debates and how it all plays, what were your general impressions of the debate this week?
I think overall, Trump is a mold breaker, obviously. So he broke the mold when it comes to debates. I've never seen anything like this where the front runner refuses to come on stage, but he's that much far ahead where he has that leeway to do that. And that's what I thought was interesting, because it strategically, just the upside versus the downside potential for him to be on that stage to allow someone like Chris Christie or Asa Hutchinson to try to go after him, it didn't look like it would be empowering for him. And so I completely understand why he did it. I would personally put the caveat on the number of views. Those things can be fudged a little bit. Not to mention, how do you measure and how long? Are you talking about a half-second view versus, Nielsen has a much more standardized rating system. So I'm not as convinced on that, especially because algorithms can be sort of, as we know, for better or for worse, manipulated. So I don't know what the true figure is in terms of impact compared to a traditional broadcast viewer, but clearly there was a massive appetite for what President Trump had to say. So I think overall, President Trump was the winner of the night. And then as far as the debate is concerned, though, I think Vivek Ramaswamy was the winner on the stage. And I've been following him for a while. And full disclosure, I actually put money on him, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago on the predictive markets, because we've known him at Independent Women's Forum. We gave him our Gentleman of Distinction Award last fall. I've been so impressed with him. I think he is truly a mold breaker, kind of like how President Trump is a mold breaker. So I wasn't surprised to see, I was shocked in the sense of how much Ron DeSantis was untouched, even though he's nominally the front runner, and it's how they were all going after Vivek. It really, to me, became a battle between establishment versus insurgent in the case of Vivek.
Yeah, essentially Trumpism, because his policies seem to very much reflect that of President Trump. And he's made the kind of strategic decision through all of the indictments to rally to Trump's side and to condemn the Justice Department and the prosecutors very, very strongly from the campaign trail. His fellow running mates have not seen their way as clear to do that, especially as forcefully as he has. He's called whole press conferences just to condemn the indictments against President Trump. I am curious, and I'm pretty familiar with the Nielsen process and the way this is calculated. It's interesting because my bride and I sat in the living room. We started the debate, jumped over to the Tucker interview, watched that in its completion, went back and finished the hard drive recording for the debate. I watched both fully, but we only got one credit in the watching the interview section because we had it up on the screen. We were both in the room, whereas the Nielsen recorded that as a household. And I think I'm gonna just disagree slightly with you. I think it's a pretty on target type of measurement. And when you think about the opportunity, even if it's just raw views, to put 200 million eyeballs plus onto your message for the night without having Chris Christie nipping at your ankles, I mean that's a stroke of genius, I think, in this day and age.
It was, I mean, absolutely disruptive. And I mean, I guess the other flip side of what you're saying, though, is like, what if I get my phone, my laptop, my iPad? Is that 3 views versus I'm one person? So that therein lies sort of the black box of metrics. And we know the dark arts of you can put that in any medium in that way. But I agreed on principle, though, that what Trump did was very innovative, and it is where the future is. That people are cutting the cord.
The networks are not going to be nearly as important 4 years from now, and they're going to be less important this year than they were 4 years ago. She's Carrie Sheffield. I'm Kevin McCullough. We're coming right back. We've got a lot more to get into. I want to know how you rate the discussion about all of the issues as women saw them last night. Stay with us.
Ready or not, we'll be right back. That Kevin